DDO Players News is brought to you by the Easy Roller Dice Company. Check out Easy Roller Dice for all of your dice needs. You're looking for a dice bag? How about a dice mat? Or how about a rolling tray? Easy Roller Dice Company has that and more. Check them out at easyrollerdice.com. And once you're there, don't forget to use our coupon code DDO Players. That is all one word at your checkout, and you can save 15%.
Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Everything's going fine here. So the question of the day is a rolling tray a something in which you roll dice on, or is it a tray that rolls?
Only you would ask that question, Pineleaf. Only you. Semantics, man. Semantics.
Oh, well, just wanted to be sure. Didn't want it to be unclear in any way.
Okay.
Let's then look at what's in the news. And there is some more information relating to the Gen Con Meetup in Indianapolis. And Drac, you're the one who's going to be there. So what's happening?
I am going to be there. Yeah, Cordovan over on the forums posted. He was working on some of the swag the other day. He says, we'll have a couple of nice new things to raffle off in addition to our older swag. Some folks will already have received this stuff, but not everyone. So if you never had the chance to, say, get a dice bag or maybe a t-shirt, there's a good chance you'll be able to get one. So if you want some cool DDO swag, you got to get to the DDO meetup at Gen Con. But that is not all, folks. This was a little tidbit he threw in. The plan is he's going to distribute tickets at the door for DDO players and Lotro players. Not us, but people that play. I guess I have to qualify that. And some special raffle swag as well. Then once we get settled in, we'll have folks drop off their DDO/Lotro tickets in exchange for one of something. After everyone has had a chance to get something, assuming we have enough swag for everyone, I hope so. That was Cordovan saying that, not me. Then the remainder of the pile will be free for the taking. If for some reason our crowd is much larger than expected, we'll have to raffle off the DDO and Lotro swag as well. Mid-party, we'll do drawings for 3 signed DDO Mist of Ravenloft posters. Let's let that sink in for a moment. You know, I hate how the RNG hates me because I know I'm not going to win one of those. And I'm going to be so sad. Because it's just going to be sad, but we all know how the RNG dislikes me, so I'm not even getting my hopes up that I'm even going to be in the running for one.
Well,
but it's okay.
Maybe somebody who's luckier will take pity on you and give it to you.
Well, it could be. Maybe. We'll see. Also, 6 Lotro calendars and 2 signed Lotro Collector's Edition boxes. And then he adds at the end of his little post, also, if you are here for DDO and a person who does things on YouTube /Twitch / a blog / whatever, I'd recommend being prepared to perhaps hear something cool. Smiley face. We will be able to do brief interviews with Sev, Tolero, and me on site.
Aha.
So we can take 2 things out of this that we did not know before.
Yeah.
Our executive producer, Severlin, is going to be at the meetup.
Okay.
Tolero is going to be at the meetup. And they're apparently going to announce something cool.
Something cool. That obviously means that they are going to have Return to Korthos.
Speaking of Korthos, I just read something earlier you might be interested in about Korthos.
I did read something about them tweaking Misery's Peak.
Yes.
Next update, though.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, I read that and I thought, hey, Pineleaf. So yeah, anyway, back to Gen Con and the DDO meetup. What the heck, man? So I wasn't planning on really taking anything. I was just going to take my digital recorder, and I thought I'd talk to some people. But see, now I got to take my digital recorder, and then I got to take my microphone to plug into it, and it's going to be like this whole big thing because apparently something cool is going to be announced. I don't know. I'm as confused as everybody else. But yeah, so if you're anywhere near Indianapolis Friday night, you might want to get yourself to Social on McCree for the DDO/Lotro meetup because something's going to be announced, apparently.
Yeah.
And I will be there if you would like to meet me and talk to me. And if you were there, if you're listening to this podcast, which if you're listening to this podcast, you are most likely going to be on your way to Gen Con, or you're at Gen Con when this releases. So, hey, come by and see me at the meetup if you're there. Stop in and say hi. I'll be the one wearing the DDO Players t-shirt. You shouldn't be able to miss me. I like beer, so just saying. Always will take free beer.
Then let's head into the DDO Chronicle issue 293, where, well, it looks like that if you crossed a big orc with Geordie LaForge, that's what you get.
That's a pretty good explanation for it. We'll go with that. Oh, Piney, the things you come up with. Yeah, in our community spotlight of our Chronicle this week, Axel is playing through White Plume Mountain. So if you want to see Axel run through that, check out his latest videos. And Sip is blogging about adventuring in the Cerulean Hills. So Sip's still writing about DDO and playing DDO. Love to see that he stuck with it. We had him on soon after he started playing DDO, and he said he was really enjoying himself. And his blog posts are really, really showing that. So stop over and show Sip some love over on his BioBreak site, and welcome him to DDO. In our fan site news section of the Chronicle this week, you can go inside the Magic Circle with the latest episode with Tone Station. He is celebrating his birthday in DDO. So check over and watch Tone Station's latest video. DDO Cast episode 527 was out. Slayer Areas Part 4. Ginger Spice is taking a look at White Plume Mountain as well. And you can now watch the D&D night on DDO stream as we did part 1 of Annabelle's Curse. See how that went. Streaming with Even had a special guest, the one, the only, Bonnie Bew. Cue the lasers. Damsels at DDO also are running the Age of Rage. So check them out. And don't forget Fridays on Ice with Baklagor. He is on episode 91. Our Chronicle comment for this week: what is your most favorite buff in game?
Most favorite buff in the game?
This is kind of a tough question because there's a lot of good buffs.
I will say Death Ward.
I was going to say I'm going to lean towards Death Ward or maybe Displacement. Those are my two, I think. They're kind of neck and neck. Both come in handy for different reasons, but Death Ward, that might inch out maybe. And finally in our Chronicle this week, we have our official screenshot of the week, and that is Amelia. Amelia. But see, once again, I pronounce names wrong. It's what I do during this section of the show. You should know that by now. Adventures in White Plume Mountain in the 375th DDO screenshot of the week. Have not done White Plume Mountain yet, so I have no idea what the heck is going on in the screenshot. But it's quite interesting.
It's there to make you go dizzy, it looks like. Then head into our store sales, and what do we have on sale this week?
We have the summer sales now through August 2nd. You can get 35% off the Bastani Enhancement Tree, 50% off the Key of Destiny and the Monster Manual number 7, 75% off the Warlock and the Shadar Kai Iconic. The Store More Loot sale is also going on through August 2nd. Character banks, shared banks, deposit box, and plat storage Also inventory space and bags. So now is a good time to get more storage. If you are not maxed out yet, always buy it when it's on sale. And of course, we have our weekly coupon for our freebie this week. It is a remove paralysis potion. 5 of those potions when you use the coupon code FREEME, FREEME. And that is through August 2nd as well.
Now let's head on to what's on the tabletop, and it sounds like that Simon Limited has announced Munchkin Dungeon with Steve Jackson Games.
Indeed, they have. We did kind of know this was coming because they did kind of announce that they were working with Steve Jackson Games on something. Well, this is the first collaboration, shall we say, with Simon and Steve Jackson game. Of course, it is Munchkin Dungeon, and they say it will capture the same playful sense and humor of the original card game while providing a completely new experience. In the game, 3 to 6 players will enter a dungeon and attempt to collect the most treasure and achieve the highest character level. They will have to push their luck if they want to successfully complete their adventure. But if they come across a foe that's a little too tough to face, they can always run away. If a player chooses to take the cowardly, a bit occasional logical route to avoid danger, they will earn shame, which will be counted against them at the end of the game. You can't be a hero without a little bravery. So yes, look for this to come to Kickstarter in 2019. Munchkin Dungeon from Simon and Steve Jackson Games.
Now, dungeon, and is this supposed to be something special, this dungeon thing, or is this something that, because how is the original Munchkin not in a dungeon?
You know, I kind of thought the same thing. I'm like, other than the whole like coward point things, this really sounds like Munchkin just a board game. So, and there's already a Munchkin board game, so I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait until we can actually see some videos of this gameplay, and or maybe, you know, look at it somewhere at a convention or something. But yeah, it sounds like regular Munchkin.
So if they're going to have a sneak preview, then at Gen Con, you might find out something.
I don't know. Hopefully, I'm going to stop by Steve Jackson Games booth, so we'll see. And I'm probably going to stop by Simon as well. I've been trying to set up like an official interview with Simon, but I haven't heard back from him, so I think I'm just going to stop by. So we'll see. Maybe I can squeeze a little information out of either Simon or Steve Jackson Games about this. But anyway, yep, coming to Kickstarter sometimes in 2019. The first collaboration with Steve Jackson Games and Simon, Munchkin Dungeon.
And I've heard a rumor that Dungeons & Dragons had a pretty good year.
They did. They had their best year ever.
Ooh.
Cue the drums and the fanfare and all of that. Yeah, the the Hasbro CEO was recently on the Mad Money show over on CNBC, and he told the host, people are more into Dungeons and Dragons today than ever before. People are re-engaged with the brand because it's a face-to-face game. It's immersive, and it's a game that people really enjoy playing with one another. They really didn't say specific sales numbers other than they sold a lot.
They sold a lot. All right.
The best year ever was the quote from him. And then he also added something that kind of drew a little controversy, and then they had to kind of like step back on it, and they kind of clarified it. He added that Hasbro's goal over time is to build fantasy games like Magic and D&D into esports properties, ripe for the global esports competition scene as consumers increasingly choose digital gaming over standard tabletop games. And then later, a Hasbro spokesman clarified that while the strategy for building digital gaming capabilities for Dungeons & Dragons will remain intact, which they're talking about the video games, the D&D brand itself has not been classified by the company as an esport title because it has very limited competitive scope.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that really...
So what?
Yeah, that was the only thing out of that whole interview. I mean, people were like, sweet, D&D is selling well. And then it's like, what are you going to do to D&D? So yeah, don't worry. It's cool. Yeah, it's basically Magic. I guess they're really looking at maybe pushing Magic as a...
Right.
Which I can kind of see Magic.
Let's then head into our week in gaming. And Drac, what were you up to?
Well, not a lot. I did do a little bit. I did some stuff. Not a lot in DDO, though. What I did with DDO, I did with you, so I'll let you talk about that. I did play some other video games, though. Started a new character in Pathfinder Kingmaker. It's been a while since I talked about Pathfinder Kingmaker. This, of course, is the first Pathfinder video game, and it's still in early alpha. It's still got a lot of bugs. They had a wipe, and so I had to recreate my character. So I decided now would be a good time to start over. So that's what I did. And speaking of starting over, in 7 Days to Die, we had to start over as well. The server that we have for 7 Days to Die had a error, and it was unable to be fixed, so we had to wipe the server and completely start again. So we are now starting over in 7 Days to Die. We're at, I think, day 4, maybe. And we were running around, and Lessa and I found the coolest thing I have ever found in 7 Days to Die yet. This place was amazing. We were running to our trader. Actually, we were running back from our trader. And we found what looked like to be a mine. Well, then it turned out it wasn't a mine. There was nothing there. But then we saw one little floorboard that kind of was rotted out, and we looked down in there, and it's like, whoa, there's like another level below us. So we knocked that out, and we jumped down. And lo and behold, we found an underground mausoleum. That's the only way I can describe it. There was coffins everywhere, which was amazing. And then we found loot everywhere. It was just amazing. It has at least 4 levels. We did like 2 of them. We're going to go back to clear the rest out. But this place, I was just like, I want to live here. This is awesome. There's coffins everywhere. And there was safes to loot. And there was, did I mention there was coffins everywhere? Amazing.
Something about that.
And then in tabletop, played a little bit of tabletop. Played Kaiju Crush. Of course, that is from our friends over at Fireside Games. That is the monster stomping city destroying game. And played Zombie 15. Also, when I was moving, I had found some older games that I forgot I had, and I had this game called Quest for the Dungeon Master. It is a TSR game from 1984 based off the D&D cartoon. So my friend was over, and we were the ones, that were playing the Kaiju Crush and the Zombie 15, and I'm like, okay, I want to try this Dungeon Master game, because I don't think I've ever played it. I don't even remember, ever buying this game. I didn't even know I had it until I found it when I moved. And... spoiler alert, it kind of sucks.
Well, that's why you haven't heard about it in the last 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best way I can describe it. It's a mix between Candyland and Chutes and Ladders. You draw cards, and then you move according to what the cards say. You might be able to move 1 space up to 7 spaces. You can move players behind. You're at the starting point, and you're trying to get through the end. And there's certain points in the board that if you land on them, or you're the certain character from the cartoon, you can use that to shoot yourself across for a little shortcut. So yeah, but it wasn't very much fun. I have Quest for the Dungeon Master. Who knew? So how about you, Piley? What would you do with gaming this week?
I will begin with what I did with you on my Dragonborn Artificer. We went into the 12, where we did 2 of the new quests. The first one, kind of a big deal.
I love that quest.
Yeah, it was a little bit had a little bit of Alice in Wonderland feeling in there.
Yeah, a little bit.
And after that, we ran The Price of Freedom, which had one of the more challenging starts of any dungeon.
Yeah, that's quite the interesting design they have going on in that one.
Yeah, it took me about 15 to 20 minutes to figure out how to get into that place, and I think that was 5 minutes after you figured it out.
Yeah, I finally got in there, and so I was running around like opening up all the things to like open up the main door, and pretty much by the time finally got up there, I'm like, okay, we can go in. It's open now.
All right, so that was a bit on the weird side. Yes, so if you do The Price of Freedom, then be prepared to have, let us just say, don't count on being able to get up there too quickly the first time you do it. And a little piece of note, though, is something that we didn't notice until later on, is that if you are in a place at a relatively low point relative to the ship, there is a dimension door that brings you back to the ship down, I think, in the center of the area below the ship, which I think Drac found that.
Yeah, I kind of found it by accident. I'm like, hey, where does this take me? Oh, that's what it does.
Yeah, because we were wondering how in the world, if all else fails, do you get back onto the ship? And yeah, dimension door. Now, in tabletop, I played some Star Realms Frontiers. That I just got my copy of that from the Kickstarter, and this is a standalone expansion of Star Realms. And in this one, I decided to play a couple of the solo bosses. They had 8. They have 8 solo bosses in that one. 2 of them were I recognized from earlier promos that were associated with the original one. They were, I think. So here they had some bigger cards for them, plus 6 others. I don't know if those 6 ones were ever published before. I think at least some of them are new ones. So I tried going against the automatons, and on the easiest setting, I was able to beat them. And then I faced the blob assault, and the blob suffocated me. So yeah, some of them seem to be tougher than others. So I was able to get by the automaton and lost against the blob. Now, I didn't get too much done this week because I spent a lot of time in Minecraft.
I'm shocked. Shocked, I say.
One of the things I did is that I ran the August Minecraft Hardcore Challenge, getting that all recorded so I could put up the episodes in August. And I won't go into too many details. I'll just say that this is the first one that was officially to be done in 1.13. So they celebrated that by having, instead of a random one selected, by having one pre-selected that says this is the aquatic challenge, because 1.13 is the aquatic update. In this, it was just get to know the features of 1.13 was what the challenge was, and of course survive, which is the usual thing in there. And I'll just say that I did survive longer than for the July one, because in the July one, I died like 2 minutes into the second day or something like that. So, dope. Yeah. And which isn't very good when you have a 9-day challenge of surviving. So I will say that in August, I do last longer than 22 minutes. In my railroad challenge, I think I mentioned last time that I had this village that was having trouble with shaky ground, so I'm moving the village closer to the railroad track. So I started building the village, I'd say about a third of the way through in building that place, maybe a little bit past that. So I'm making good progress on the village. And then I went to finish up the July base race, and it was more like a base crawl. In theory, you're supposed to finish the base race in 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's not everyone takes that time too seriously, because there's some, I think, who've never completed in 2 hours and 40 minutes that regularly do it. And then there are others who says, oh, okay, that's it. 2 hours. Oh, I got it just under 2 hours. That sounds nice. So you see I have quite a range of characters. And I managed to finish this in 10 hours.
Holy crap.
And
you're supposed to do it in 2 hours, and you did it in 10 hours?
2 hours and 40 minutes. And yeah, it took me 10 hours to finish this. It took me, I would say the last 5 hours was trying to find a nether fortress. And I don't know how some people just walk in there. They must just know how to find nether fortresses, because they've been in enough of them already in the past. So, okay, there we go. Okay, this is probably the best direction to go. Boom, boom, boom. All right, here's a nether fortress. For me, I spent 5 hours going in the wrong direction. Yeah, nether fortresses. But I did eventually finish that up, and I am going to be doing a build. So I started working on a build, because the idea of the base race is first you collect all these materials, and then the second portion of it is to use those materials in building something. And this month's build theme is suave and classy. And so therefore I need to come up with a suave and classy build. Currently, I'm about a third of the way through in that one, where I am building a ballroom. I call it the Pine Ridge Ballroom. So there, of course, has to have something piney involved in it. That will be one of the things I'm working on there. We currently have 20 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or be a guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. And if you have any nice suggestions on potential rewards that we could have for our patrons, you could send it to Drac at ddoplayers.com.
Yeah, I think sometimes after Gen Con is when I'm probably going to start redoing some of those rewards. So I am reading all of your emails. I've got a couple good suggestions, so stay tuned for the new reward tier. It should be coming within the next couple months.
And if you would like to send us an email on other matters, you can send it to podcast at ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Dracula_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. And you can follow Drac on Twitch at Draculetta_72. The Players Alliance has 4 shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. Every other Thursday at 9:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. And on the first Tuesday of each month at 9:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Chromatic Bits. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And remember that DDO Players News is brought to you by Easy Roller Dice Company. You could use a coupon DDO Players at checkout to save 15% on things like rolling trays. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.